Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Natasha Rouge. I'm president and founder of Natural Answers. And I'm really glad that you've taken the time to come here today because I'm really excited to present this new initiative to you. And this initiative called the Complete Family Support System, we also named it Let's Steer the Ship Together. It's something that's definitely going to make a big impact on the way we are seeing the world around us and especially on our community and its progress. So before we get started, I just want to ask you a very basic question about yourself. And that question is that, do you feel that you're living every breath of your life with purpose and intention? So I'm not somebody that can decide what your purpose is in life. But there's a reason why I'm asking you this specific question. And that is that with the time that we're living in the society that we're living in, we have access to so much information and knowledge. We've progressed a lot in terms of technology, in terms of information that's available to us. So we should be living amazing and fulfilling lives, right? Right, but we're still struggling for some reason. We're not at the level that we should be at. So why are we struggling? What it does go to show is that technology doesn't always seem to mean that there's progress. Technology or improvement or information doesn't necessarily mean we're progressing as a community. Let's consider the structure of a building. So what we know is when we go about constructing something, the inner foundation has to be strong in order for the outer structure to be stable. So with that, the same concept applies to the human growth and the human potential, and that is, if our inner structure is strong, then our outer world will be better. So if our inner foundation, so it's essentially our inner foundation that creates our outer world and the patterns that we're seeing in the world around us. So currently, at the present moment, what we're finding is that in that outer world that's surrounding us, we're finding numerous problems and numerous patterns that are existing. So for example, recently there's been a great rise of divorce rates within the country, which means that there's failure of the family system. There's rise of poverty and inequality, rise of unemployment. There's wars happening all over the world. And more importantly, more recently, we've been affected by diseases and pandemics. And it didn't just start right away with the COVID. It started with numerous health issues that were already existent within our society. So why is all of this happening to us? What's the actual root cause? I don't know if you've heard, but there's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it basically describes a pyramid. Whereas in the lower level of the pyramid, or level 1 you can call it, the human being is struggling for their most basic needs in order to survive, or their physiological needs. So they're trying to get food to survive for the day. They're trying to form a shelter around them. As they're going higher up the pyramid, they start extending that because they are starting to reach higher potential. So they start to form new relationships with the people around them, amazing relationships with friends and family, and then they start to interact with the greater community and fulfill the needs of the community itself. As they grow to the highest level, they're starting to gain more self-esteem, and eventually they're going to reach that point of self-actualization, which means that they fulfilled all of their needs at the basic level, and now they're at the height of the pyramid, and they're at the level where they can start reaching that higher potential and serving the greater community or the greater society in this world. So they're the ones that are living their full potential. It goes with the saying of Imam Ali alayhi salam, who mentioned that don't be a slave to this world when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you a free man. So the problem is that we're struggling at the basic level, trying to fulfill our needs and trying to help ourselves with just the basic needs. So we are becoming the slave, and we're depending on other people to help us with those basics, while we should be at the level when we're reaching a higher potential. We need to become free in ourselves to be able to reach that higher level. And in order to become free, we need to free our souls from the needs that we're having. And that doesn't mean that we start forcing ourselves to live the life where we have needs but we're not able to fulfill them, or we start fighting against our very natures. But it means that we work towards progress. We move forward in life. We're not any longer at the basic level. We're not struggling to feed ourselves every day, but we're complete beings in ourselves so that we can now provide to other people. So this is the basic concept of this initiative that we're trying to launch, and the solution that we're presenting to the community. It's a system of training, and it's a system that's different from advising. So for example, I've struggled with it in my life as well, that we have access to so much information that right now there's a lot of people offering us advice on how we should go about doing things. So whenever we encounter a problem and we reach out to somebody for support, what we're getting is oftentimes not support but rather advice. So somebody that might not even be able to understand our entire problem might be telling us how we can go about resolving it and what they would do if they were in our shoes. So right now, advice is definitely good. Our scholars are giving us advice, our family members and friends are giving us advice. Advice is good, I'm not saying that it's bad, but what I found over time is we need more of a system of support for our community members and not just a system of advice. Support means that a person is not left alone to follow through on that advice. And support means that we're offering you training and not just information. Training means that you'll have a chance to practice those concepts that we're mentioning to you, and we're providing you a system of growth and progress rather than just advice on how to reach solutions on your own. So for example, if you sign up to do a job, you'll be going through a series of trainings before you can actually start work, wherein you're actually in the environment, you're surrounded by people having certain mindsets, you're in the organization itself, and now you practice it so much that it becomes ingrained in you, and then you can progress towards the position that you're actually signed up for. Same concept applies here, that we're here to provide you training and not just guidance or advice. The second thing we're here to provide you is a system of support, and it's different from a system that is a welfare or dependent system. So for example, you might have all heard the saying that give a man a fish and he will have food for a day. But if you teach the man how to fish, he would have food for a lifetime, right? So what we're offering you is training and progress, but sometimes in this kind of example, what we're finding is oftentimes, yes, we can teach you how to fish, but we also have to direct you to the pond where there are fish available. Oftentimes we find ourselves fishing in the pond that there are no fish available there, there's no results. So you're putting your efforts again and again in a cycle where you're not getting results, right? And there's ways to go about changing that. There's ways to get results in each of the programs that we have to offer, we're offering you a system of complete support and a system of training. A system that's different than the welfare system, because the welfare system is a system that creates dependence. How many of you might know people, or might maybe even be people, that are dependent on government support right now? Especially with the COVID pandemic, we're finding that more and more people are leaving their jobs, leaving their income, and going towards the system of dependence and welfare, depending on the government for your income, depending on the government for your day-to-day life. Now let me just share with you some of the examples I've seen in the past. I've had a very close friend actually in the past where they were dependent on the welfare system. And I've seen that numerous times. It's not just specific people, but what happens is when you're dependent on the welfare system with the government, your ability to reach higher potential becomes capped. Your income, you have to report your income regularly, so they can make sure that you're not reaching higher income than what they're providing to you. That means that a lot of the people that become dependent on government support start losing out on opportunities. And because of that, some of my very close friends have had to let go of their higher education because it would affect their income and they wouldn't have food to survive on the day-to-day life. And I don't want people in our community to have to go through that kind of system where they're becoming more and more dependent. So the system that we are offering is different. We might not be able to offer you free services or income support, all of this stuff. But what we are offering you is a system of progress. So anybody that comes into these training programs will be able to reach a point where they can support themselves and other people. They would not have to depend on anybody else. So it's as one of the prayers in Sahifa Sajadiya, in which Imam Sajjad alayhi salam is asking his needs. He says, how can the needy ask from the needy? Right? And that's the thing that we're trying to avoid. If we start depending on other people for our own progress, then we won't be able to achieve higher progress. We want each person within this community to reach their full potential, where they can say eventually that yes, I'm living every breath of my life with purpose and intention as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made me to be. I am a free person and I'm not dependent on others for my day-to-day life or my basic existence. I'm the one that's able to provide to others. I'm a lantern that can provide light in the darkness for other people, to guide them, to help them. I'm a complete being in myself, so now I can reach out to other people and help them out. So that's what all this initiative is all about. And I really hope that even if you decide that you don't want to take part in any of the programs, that at least you support our cause and what we're trying to achieve. So you can click the links below. You'll find more information about some of the programs. And I know that in some of the links, when you click them, there will be a form. And with that form, those programs might still be under development, or they might be entirely customizable. So when you fill out the information in that form, we will be actually reaching out to you with solutions or with more information, and we will be contacting you in terms of asking you what is it that you actually require for us to be able to help you to reach that state. So just click. I know that the employment support and the parenting support, there's specific programs in there. So when you click those links, you'll be directed to pages where you will be able to get more information. For the other ones, some of the programs are still under development, as I mentioned, and we will again still be able to reach out to you with more information. Another one of the initiatives that we are trying to work on is the job creation system, in which the people within our community will be able to create and offer jobs to other people. So if you're running a business, or if you're somebody that can offer training, for example, to other people, you can definitely reach out to us, and we'll be glad to share with you more information about how that's possible. And we just look forward to seeing the success of every member of this community, and we look forward to growth and development, so we can be the ones that other people are reaching out to, and we can be the ones that are able to help other people, because we're the ones that are following what we know and able to provide something for the world we're living in. Thank you, and I'm glad you took the time to come here today. Have yourselves a great day ahead.